All right, brokers, welcome to the green room. My name is David, and I am the content growth marketing manager at Health First. Honestly, I wear a lot of hats, but today you're in the green room. So, this is an extension of the green line. This is very similar to CMS does office hours. I think NABIP calls theirs happy hour. But we as a team wanted to come together and set aside 1 hour per week as much as we can throughout open enrollment. We are going to skip, I believe, the week of Thanksgiving and the week of Christmas. But this is a really good opportunity for brokers to sit down with the team and address some complex questions, complex issues through Q&A. So, if you have questions that come up, we'll go ahead and have you send them over to the green line and we will bring them up. We will address them here. You can also join us with the QR code on the screen via Slido for a little bit of Q&A if you have some burning questions that have come up that week. But you can see here in the green room with me today are Dan, Brandon, and Chris. If everybody wants to wave to the camera, say hello. Thank you guys for being here. And let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the questions that have already come in, and then next week we'll open it up for some live Q&A. So the first one that we want to go ahead and start with is, are there any insights from Health First so far on how open enrollment is going? Dan, would you mind telling us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so it's hard to believe. This year we have 31 days, business days during open enrollment up until December 15th, and we're already 9 days in. So we're almost a third of the way through, and early signs are that we are way behind on enrollments.
Yeah.
So right now, about 20% of the block has been actively re-enrolled, which means that there's a lot of brokers that are either moving people away from ACA or holding off on enrollments, which is kind of what we expected this year with all the government uncertainty. Some things that we are able to see early is we are seeing a shift from gold, away from gold towards silver and bronze, and then away from silver to bronze. So people are looking for more affordable options. Hasn't been as extreme as we expected it would be. We're at about 40% bronze now,
Okay.
up from 38% last year, but it is trending in that direction. And I imagine a lot of these later enrollments will probably trend more bronze as well.
Okay. Any other insights so far?
No, with us only being 20% through the block and with brokers holding off on enrollments, I think it's a little too early to say for certain, but I will throw one other thing out, I guess. 95% select health across the state.
Yeah,
Yeah, makes sense.
they looked really good on that forecast. So we'll see if it holds true. Okay. So the next question is, if someone is healthy and doesn't qualify for a tax credit, is there any other options to get them a lower premium? Of course, with the income cliff coming back, 400% of the federal poverty line, it's kind of a big deal. And we are going to talk about that a little bit later. But just right now, Chris, if somebody doesn't get a tax credit, what options are there to get them a lower premium?
So we have some really good options here in Utah. We've got some short-term medical with Allstate. Select Health is just released their rates, and then we've got Start Health. And what we like to tell people is that anything that's outside of the marketplace, you can get cheaper. You're just trading premium for some liability. So there's usually limitations and exclusions. So things that aren't covered that you would normally find covered on an ACA plan on the marketplace. So they do have some health underwriting questions. There are some things that they won't cover and things that are limited. And so it's just really important to pre-qualify your clients by going through those health questions on each one of the with each one of the carriers, and making sure that your client understands and is okay with the things that aren't going to be covered.
And then, real quick, I just want to mention the green line is our broker support resource that is available daily throughout open enrollment at Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you have general questions, like, please reach out during the week. You don't have to wait for the green room support sessions to come around. If you have these kind of questions that pop up during the week, please reach out to the team and we'll get you answers as quick as we can. But we did want to have this forum for some more in-depth kind of things that we should really talk about as a team and a community of brokers, especially in this year as we're trying to care for our clients with everything that has happened with uh, increased premiums. So the next thing I do want to talk about is what happens if somebody renews right now for 2026 and then next year the extended APTC credits come back. Brandon, why don't you tell us a little bit about how that's going to go down and what that's going to look like?
Yeah, as we get this question asked quite often, and Dan kind of talked a little bit earlier about how many enrollments have been done this far, and there's not a ton. And I think we were a little worried, but we're also expecting that. And I think the reason why we're expecting that is because all of you as brokers are hoping and thinking that the enhanced subsidies do come back at some point. And so if they do come back, let's say in January, um, I would expect I would expect CMS to open enrollment back up again, have some sort of special enrollment period. They could do that. They may not do that. We don't really know. Um, but all of those enrollments will have to be redone. Um, and so I think there is a lot of hesitation in pushing them through until we're absolutely certain. So um, I would encourage brokers to just get through open enrollment and push their applications through, get things done as if the enhanced subsidies are not coming back. If they do, I believe there will be ample time to redo them.
Yeah,
All
because either open enrollment will open, they'll have some sort of SEP, or you'll just have to go update the application
Yeah.
to get the new subsidy amount. And then no matter what, if it does come back, it'll be applicable for the whole tax year. And so when they file at the end of the year, right, they'll
That's true.
balance out the budget
Sure.
anyways, right?
Mhm.
Cool. Okay. So let's talk about, this is actually a really good one. So if a client ends up making less than 100% of the federal poverty line, technically they shouldn't have qualified for any sort of tax credit. So if they had a good faith estimate that got them a tax credit, they file at the end of the year below the threshold, no tax credit. Are they going to owe it all back?
This is also a very common question, so I am glad that we're addressing this. It takes a little bit longer to address it, but the short answer is no. They will not have to owe it back, and I'll explain why. Um, I actually had this question asked earlier this morning. I'd sent out some correspondence about it, and then actually linked it to a CMS PDF, and and if somebody expects their income to be over 100% of the federal poverty line and they estimate that on their application, they qualify for a subsidy. If they come in under that 100% of the federal poverty line, they will not owe any of that money back. And that's actually not just guidance, that's like actually built into the law. So, and I think
Dan had a
Dan
good
had some choice words.
story about this, right?
So they will absolutely 100% unequivocally not be required to repay that tax credit. The instructions for Form 8962 explain how this is going to work, and the applicable figure for anyone that's below 150% of the federal poverty line is zero. And what that means is they the second lowest cost plan will cost $0 for them. And so the tax credit is going to be based on that. And so when you follow the 8962 through and you put zero for their affordability figure, you get a full tax credit. So at the end of the year, the awesome thing is they may even get more money back.
So that's, I was going to say real world application, because I had this happen to a client back when I was still working and had clients 2 years in a row, did not qualify for Medicaid, was good faith estimate, subsidy eligible. At the end of the year, filed less, and they actually returned some of his premium overpayments. They said, hey, you paid too much. We're going to give you some money back on your taxes. And so, yeah, definitely not going to owe it back. That figure is zero. They might actually get some money back.
And I will fight any CPA, accountant, tax person that says that they have to repay that.
Physically.
I feel like, there's enough proof between what's written and what actually happens. I feel very confident about it, but I do still run into CPAs that, I don't know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So
the key here is always make a good faith estimate.
yes, 100%.
Yeah, if you're grossly miscalculating your income, misrepresenting, like it's insurance fraud. So if you know you're not going to make anything, and then you say you're going to make $20,000,
Don't do
then
that.
yeah, then there's a problem there, and then you get into insurance fraud, but it's still in the law. It says that you won't have to pay.
Okay. So the last question we have for today is on the opposite end of the spectrum is if a client is over 400% of the federal poverty line, now with the income cliff, they get no subsidy and they are also unhealthy. They're not healthy enough to be on short-term medical or start health. What is the best way to help clients over 400%, no subsidy, not in great health? Chris, can you walk us through what options are out there?
I'd like to say that's a good question, but that's a hard question.
That is a very hard question.
So these are real conversations that brokers are having right now, and clients are mad, they're angry, they're upset, they're crying, um, they don't know what to do. So I feel that one, you can look to see, do they own a business? If they own a business, we can look at possibly doing a group plan for them. Sometimes if husband and wife are both working in the company, we can form a group plan. And right now, currently as of today, group rates are 21% less than individual plans. So there's some savings there that could happen. But there may be instances where this isn't true, where they don't have a group, they don't have a company, and you can't do that. And so the best advice I can give is that you talk it through to uh, to your client. Make sure that you're understanding them, that you're hearing them, acknowledging their pain points, and then just explaining why they need to be on the ACA and why they can't go off, and then also explain what would happen if they just went uninsured.
Yeah.
Talk to them about the liabilities there with their assets, with their income, um, and if none of that works, then the last thing you can talk to them about is saying, then the best thing to do is maybe to go look for a job that has benefits that employer pays for. There's a lot of companies out there that are, if you work part time, they will give you health insurance, and so that would be kind of your last scenario to help them.
If they're family as well, right? If one of the people in the family, if one of them is unhealthy, but the rest of them are not, they're perfectly fine and healthy, and we can carve them out, right, and put that's a no-no in the group insurance world, but on the individual exchange, it happens quite often. So if the mom or the dad is sick, but the others are healthy, put one on an ACA plan, the rest maybe on a short term or a start health plan. So there are some options there for family members to bring down costs, but if you're just a single person and you're over the 400% of the federal poverty line, you're going to end up paying the full amount of stuff.
Yeah. And I think, unfortunately, right now, the reality is things are kind of rough everywhere
Yeah.
for everybody. And right now, there is not a great unifying answer that solves everybody's problems. And so, to that point, though, now it's a tough time to be a broker, but it's also a really good time to be a broker because people need help and we are uniquely in this position to offer whatever help we can across a spectrum of insurance products. And so this is one of those things where I hope that brokers are out there trying to help people, and I hope these brokers are coming to us when they need help because at the end of the day, we are all in this together. And this is hopefully not a permanent problem. But right now, this is something that we as a team and as a society and a community need to band together and deal with as best as we can. So
Let me add to that, David.
yeah,
So um, we obviously fight for all of our clients, and we really try to save each and every one. And when we lose one, it's really hard. It's
yeah,
really difficult. But we have to have the mindset that if you lose one, there's 10 more out there that do need help and do qualify for products that you're offering. And so if you lose one person, it stinks, but disruption provides opportunities in the marketplace. And there
yes,
are a lot of opportunities to help people lower their costs. There's people coming off of Medicaid. There's people coming off of group plans that are getting laid off. There's a lot of opportunities out there. And you just need to go out and find some more leads.
yeah. And there's nothing better than the opportunity to help people. 100%. Okay, well, seriously, thank you all for being here. Thank you for spending this time. I am just going to go ahead and throw up on the screen just sort of the schedule of the rest of them that we're going to do. But we will have other people in other seats as we continue to do this. But seriously, thank you all for being here, and wave one last wave to the
Thank
good
you.
people,
Thank you,
and
guys.
then we'll get out of here.